Welcome to Doctrine and Devotion, the podcast that explores Christian faith and practice from a Reformed Baptist perspective. My name is Joe Thorne. I'm the lead pastor of Redeemer Fellowship in St. Charles, Illinois.
And I'm Jimmy Fowler, executive pastor at Redeemer Fellowship.
My voice sound okay? Sound different? Sound the same?
I don't know.
That sounds weird.
Why? What happened?
I don't know. I think I've been recording so much stuff now that I lose track of what headphones on, off. There's just too much going on.
Yeah. Oh, humble brag.
No.
All these
I didn't say it was
you're
awesome
recording
stuff.
and
No, it's church stuff.
you look so excited to be here.
I'm over the COVID thing.
I know. I'm glad you finally recovered.
I mean, I just mean, as an introvert, it hasn't bothered me.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Just hanging out at home. It's really bothering me now. It finally got to me.
Really?
Yeah. Done.
Are you ready to fight the power? He's thinking it. He's ready to fight the power. He didn't want to have that conversation, huh?
No, I've had that conversation. I led that conversation. What are you talking about?
I don't even know. What do you mean you led? You led the conversation to fight the power?
Yeah.
Did you now?
In our circle.
In our circle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're hanging out.
Yep.
And we just got done recording the sermonette, whatever you call it, that thing I'm doing now.
Fireside chat.
Fireside chat for Sunday. So we did that all on
Sunday.
Yeah, it's like a mix of monster cars and professional wrestling and Jesus. That's kind of how we do it here at Redeemer. Yeah, so we finished that, and now we have a chance to talk a little bit about the 1689.
Yeah, do some recording. We didn't record one for last Thursday.
That's a very rare thing for us to actually miss.
But you know what? I forgive us.
I'm still thinking it over. I tend to.
I know. You get so wrapped up about that stuff.
I want to know what those two were thinking. Like they just couldn't just do it. Like I don't know.
I know exactly what I was thinking.
Oh, what was that?
It's a full week. Not sure if we have time.
Yeah, that's not a good excuse.
Yeah, no, it was pretty good. Good. It was a full work week for me.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I did.
Yeah. And it was a full week for you. We had. Are you kidding me? I could look at the text.
I'm just saying. Like I expect those two goofs to put out content. Do you now? Listen, I know it takes a lot of work and time, and I know that they're giving it away for free, but I demand that they consistently, without error, give me what I want.
I'm okay every once in a while not releasing one.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. So, Joe, we're back on the air. Here we are.
Yeah, it feels good.
It feels good. And we're going to be, we're done with chapter 27, the 1689. And now we're in chapter 28.
Like the shortest chapter.
Are we gonna, now, this might take us, 4 or 5 weeks?
This would be the Joe Thorne of all of the chapters.
It's the shortest one? That was well done. Well done.
Yeah, well, we could take our time and go through this.
Or we could just get both paragraphs done today.
Probably just going to do that.
All right, let's do that.
It's on baptism and the Lord's Supper. So it's before it gets into the separate chapters on each of those.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll just start with paragraph 1, or you want me to do both?
Do your thing. Do paragraph 1.
All right. Baptism and the Lord's Supper are ordinances of positive and sovereign institution appointed by the Lord Jesus, the only lawgiver, to be continued in his church to the end of the world.
Great. So there are how many ordinances?
Well, I mean, they might be mistaken. I only see 2 here.
Yeah, there's 2.
I only see 2, but they're not talking about,
the foot washing.
The foot washing.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, I don't see confession. I don't see last rites.
Yeah. So we believe, unlike the Catholics, that there are 2, not 7 sacraments or ordinances. And we believe there are 2, not 3, like those gross Christians who want to count washing of feet as an ordinance.
No, you're not gonna wash feet.
You know what? I would rather go for like a renewed adulthood circumcision before I would want to go for the regular washing of your feet. 100.
100. Okay.
Feet are so gross.
I know you went to a really
I tried to show you how serious I am about it.
You and you know what?
Yeah.
It was shown.
Okay.
It was shown.
Yeah, there are some people that listen. Okay, let's just talk about foot washing for a second. Okay, okay.
I don't know where to go with this one now. You went to like such an area.
Yeah. Well, I'm just because listen. Here's the thing with foot washing.
Here's the thing.
Foot washing today isn't really as gross as it was back in the day, because back in the day, like, our feet are smelly, but they're essentially clean, right? They're in a sock and a shoe, whereas feet in sandals, walking around, animal dung and all this stuff all over the streets. So foot washing was something that was done by servants, lower class people. This was not a thing that a person of importance or means would be doing. They would have their servant do it. They wouldn't do it. And Jesus, of course, washes the disciples' feet. This is a very scandalous thing in John's gospel. And so, Jesus clearly says in that context, I'm giving you an example of what it means to serve.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful thing. It's a great thing. And some people find in that a command to do this perpetually. What's the difference between why don't we include it? Why is foot washing, when it's a beautiful picture of servanthood, even though it's a disgusting, filthy habit? I'd rather roto-rooter a public toilet. Why? I just don't like the feet. Why do we not include it why do Baptists not see it as one of the ordinances?
Yeah, because as it says here, right, it's not appointed by the Lord Jesus in perpetuity for us. It was not directed for us to continue the practice within the church today.
Yeah, it's one of the many things that Jesus did that serves as an example on the level of principle, but isn't something that,
we're called to.
Yeah, Jesus didn't get married. It's like, guess what? He's not implying that we should all be single. And there are some differences, some significant differences between something like foot washing and baptism and the Lord's Supper. Baptism and the Lord's Supper are pictures of Christ in his death, in his resurrection. You got the burial of baptism and the cleansing and the renewal. And then you've got, in the Lord's Supper, you've got his body broken. And so those things are closely associated with his death and resurrection. And of course, foot washing is not. So it stands outside even of what the means of these ordinances are primarily pointing to, the centrality of the gospel. And it's gross. So,
and it's gross. It's up there with intinction for you?
No, way worse than intinction.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Oh,
you could only make intinction worse if you used your toes to dip the bread in the wine. Then intinction would be worse.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
You're holding back now. I don't know what you're.
I am holding back because we have a friend.
Yeah.
That uses feet for everything.
He's listening right now.
I know, and that's why
Daniel. Listen, Daniel. Okay, stop. So just listen. Okay. Daniel, I got to take half of what I've said about feedback.
Yes, you do.
I've got it. Okay, so let me back up on this. Daniel, we're talking about Daniel Ritchie, great guy, friend of ours, preacher.
Bro, I want you to know I've been sitting here appalled on your behalf, and I've been waiting. I'm like, I am a jerk. Because in the moment, I'm like, I'm going to let Joe dig this hole.
Thank you so much. Just if you guys don't know, you should be following Daniel Ritchie online. Probably the easiest place to find him is on like Twitter,
Instagram.
Daniel Ritchie.
Yep.
He's a podcast. He's a preacher, and I was just on his podcast. It dropped Friday. Okay, so Daniel doesn't have any arms, okay? I don't know if that was by choice or not, but he doesn't have arms.
Not by choice?
Not by choice, okay. Thank you for clarifying. And so he does everything with his feet, which are beautiful and not disgusting, okay? Let me just say that.
Now, we've smoked cigars with him. Were you appalled then?
No.
Were you disgusted as he ate dinner with us?
No.
Yeah, when we at Casa.
Yeah, Casa.
Yeah, so he was eating?
Yeah, here, listen. First of all, his feet are different than your feet.
He was at our seminar,
his feet
and he was writing notes. Was that disgusting?
You know what's cool about Daniel? Let me talk about Daniel Ritchie. Okay,
go ahead. You talk about Daniel Ritchie.
Daniel, your feet are beautiful. They not only carry the gospel all around, but they do all kinds of extra stuff too.
I was trying to think. I was trying to think of that passage.
Daniel is one of those super. Daniel. he's on TV and stuff. Like he gets around. Like people want to talk to him.
Yeah, and I think he writes for Fox News as well. Sometimes.
Yeah, he's got a book, My Affliction for His Glory. I mean, so Daniel is not just a positive guy who happens to not have two arms. He is a gospel man, a gospel family man, and so he's awesome. So Jimmy and I are giving this lecture at a conference in Chicago, and we are stinking it up.
Yeah,
we are stinking it up. Boring.
I have a photo. In the midst of the seminar, of the session, the lecture, some dude falls asleep, and I don't care. I just sit there and I get my phone out. I take a photo of that dude
while we're teaching.
I'm like, I gotta get a photo of
this. Now that guy sleeping was sort of indicative of how it felt, right? There was one cat in there
that actually liked it.
That liked it, listened, and was feverishly taking notes. And it's the guy that didn't have any arms. Is Daniel Ritchie. Goodness sakes. Okay, so I take it all back about but there's a difference. His feet are used like hands. Hands aren't gross to me. Oh. So his feet are like hands.
Oh, okay. So it's not gross.
Your feet are disgusting.
Now he has to wear sandals though.
Yeah,
so all the dust and everything you were talking about
but
before.
Our feet are different.
And he eats barbecue that way.
Yeah, that's fine. So that's fine. Your feet are gross. Daniel's are great. Daniel, I'm so sorry.
Oh, man. I'm loving the egg on your face right now.
I don't have egg on my face.
Oh, yes. I can see it right there. Nope. I can see how uncomfortable you are.
I'm not uncomfortable at all.
It's okay. And you apologize
Daniel
to him. It's fine.
And I know. He knows me. He knows my heart.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, he knows my heart. And my heart will go on. Yeah, okay, Jimmy. So let's move on.
All right, let's move on.
All right.
You feel bad enough?
No, I don't feel bad. I feel really bad actually.
I know you do.
Gosh! Just stop me! Why don't you stop me?
Because I knew at the end of that trail I was going to point back to Daniel.
Getting all the way down in there talking about Daniel. You're awesome, beautiful. I love you, man. Everybody should follow Daniel. His book. Subscribe to his podcast.
Man, and he can actually figure out. He builds IKEA furniture with them feet.
Yeah, I can't do it. With my hands. And he is twice the man that I am. I just, whatever. All right. So baptism and the Lord's Supper in paragraph 1 are appointed by the Lord Jesus, right? So the church didn't create these. Yeah. The church didn't give us these. We call them church ordinances only because Jesus gave them to the church, right? Yep. And so Jesus, the only lawgiver, and these are supposed to be continued in the church to the end of the world. So baptism and the Lord's Supper ain't going anywhere, despite what hyper-dispensationalists would argue. These are ongoing, necessary aspects of corporate Christian life. Boom, paragraph 2.
These holy appointments are to be administered by those only who are qualified and thereunto called according to the commission of Christ.
That's right. All you lay people, or as I like to call you, lazy people, you got to get out the way.
No, that's not
Move. How I feel. Get out the way.
As soon as I heard that inflection, I'm like, I know where we're going.
Teamwork. Okay, so these holy appointments are to be administered by those only who are qualified and thereunto called. So who are they talking about here, Jimmy?
I mean, they're talking about the elders, the overseers of the church, the officers of the church.
Yeah, the bishops.
Or at least under the authority.
Yeah, well, they're talking about pastors here. They're definitely the OGs here are talking about pastors.
So we've changed it.
Not exactly. I would say that we're not out of the spirit of what they're saying. But yeah, they probably would disagree with what we're doing here in terms of but I don't even think that this is much of a quibble, because I essentially agree that we should not be observing the Lord's Supper and baptism outside of the oversight of pastors. I think it ought to be a church ordinance. We're doing this together, and there should be oversight there. But for us, we've talked about this before. You baptize, I baptize. Elders baptize, but then sometimes it will be a father that baptizes a child,
or the youth leader,
or a friend, or a youth leader. And we're okay with that.
Yeah.
And that's at the request, of course, of the person being baptized. If you have some guy going, hey, man, here we've got a baptism going on next week. Can I do some of those? The answer is like, no.
No, you can do none of those.
Who you?
Yeah.
But sometimes a kid will be like, hey, like this person, my father, the youth leader had a big impact on me. Can they baptize me? We're like, absolutely. And of course, so in that sense, it is overseen, administered by those of us that are called as pastors, while someone else is actually doing the dunking. I don't have a problem with that. Jimmy doesn't have a problem with that. Obviously, our church doesn't have a problem with that.
Now, do you have a problem with, hot tub baptisms?
Well, it depends what you mean by that.
Well, like someone's just in the back of their house. Friends are all together.
Is the church there?
No.
No.
Do you recognize it in membership?
Yeah, we talked about that, right? Didn't we talk about that recently?
We talked about
how you recognize. Yeah, we did that at a beer.
Yeah, but I think we're talking about other faith traditions, not necessarily.
Yeah,
you're in your backyard or down the river.
Yeah, so if I guess we would say this: we try to be gracious in who we receive. If they've been baptized by immersion as a believer, and they're coming from a different church, we're likely to take that if a lot of other things are in place. But if it was done by their buddy in the backyard with no witnesses, it would be something we'd have to talk through, probably, to be honest. But if it was, but we might take it. I don't know. I mean, again, it's like what we would do is one thing, and what others do that we might accept is different, right? Because we try to be more generous. We're pretty uptight about things. I mean, not enough about some things according to others. So,
and I know we're going to go into these more in detail in the coming weeks, but I think it's important. We've talked about this before, right? For those who are qualified according to the commission of Christ, and it's important, especially when we talk about the Lord's Supper, fencing the table, right? People don't quite know, all the ins and outs of who is and who is not under church discipline. We don't share those details unless it comes to a certain level. And so that's why it's really important that the officers of the church are administering this as well, even in baptism, right? In some ways, fencing baptism.
Yeah.
You have to. So because it's are they a believer, right? Do we see evidence of salvation and a profession of faith?
Yeah. I had a woman come up to me one time and say like, okay, I'm ready to get baptized. And I said, oh, okay. And she wasn't even a believer as far as I knew. She was seeking the Lord in some sense. And I said, well, what makes you think you're ready for baptism? She's like, I'm just ready. And I was like, clearly it was something was going on in her that was hopefully positive, and I think it turned out to be positive.
Positive, yeah, caring, Caleb.
But at the time, like, she wasn't ready for baptism. I mean, because she hadn't come to know the Lord yet. And oftentimes it's parents that are pushing, like, hey, my kids need to get baptized. And then you talk to the kids, and like kids don't really have any understanding of the gospel yet. Yeah. Okay, so you do have to. That's why you need to have qualified people overseeing the whole thing. You're right, Jimmy. I totally agree. And it is a part of the commission to make disciples, right? Baptism is, in a sense, a kind of entry point or start of a formal public Christian life. And the Lord's Supper is this ongoing habit of a life of faith. It is a preaching of Christ to ourselves and to one another. And in all of this, I mean, these are distinctly Christian things, not in that nobody else is ever baptized.
Yeah.
We used something that other people were doing when we took baptism. And not that anybody else doesn't drink wine or have a chalice or something like that, but that for us, these are distinctly Christian habits: water, bread, wine. These simple elements are what we have to use when we have a church somewhere. And that's it. You don't have to have anything else, right? I mean, Bible, and then in terms of elements, that's it's very, very, very simple for us. So these are beautiful ordinances or sacraments, and we're excited to talk about these in the coming weeks. So help us get ready. Be sure and share your worst baptism and Lord's Supper experiences on social media. We want to hear the worst ones, like when your kid kicks the cup of wine out of your hand and it goes all over the floor. Like that's happened to us a few times because Killian has very active legs. Do
you hate his feet like you hate Daniel's?
I don't hate Daniel's feet. I like Daniel's. I love Daniel's feet. Daniel's feet are awesome. Why are you bringing it around to that? Just wrap it up, dude.
Well, we'd love to hear your thoughts. You can follow us online on Instagram and Twitter at Doc and Diva, or at Facebook/Doctrine and Devotion. You can head to the website, doctrinedevotion.com. There you can contact us. You can sign up for the email blast or hit up the store, jofostore.com, and grab some gear. Fresh pod on Mondays and Thursdays. Blog post on Wednesdays. Daniel, you are a blessing despite Joe's bias. Later.